Hey folks, want to come on here and do a quick solo episode. This one's going to be about Manchester United. If you support another team, feel free to go back and listen to the golf episode. Also, Merry Christmas. If you're out there having fun, especially in Dublin, Ireland, the pubs look packed last night, the 750 of them. Allegedly, in the county or in the city, Dundrum, the local shopping centre, looks packed. So yeah, it's all go. If you don't celebrate this festive season, that's absolutely no problem. And welcome to the show. So let's get into it. Manchester United. By the way, they're seventh in the Premier League at the moment. So we'll get into that in a sec. Manchester United, commonly called Man United or the Red Devils, is one of the most famous and successful professional football soccer clubs in the world. We'll stop with the brackets. They're based in Manchester, England, and compete in the Premier League, top tier of English football. Club overview, full name, Manchester United Football Club, founded 1878 as Newton Heath, LYR. That's brackets as Newton Heath, LYR. I know I stopped that. It's a habit I've gotten to the last few shows. Nicknamed the Red Devils, Stadium, Old Trafford, known as the, quote, Theatre of Dreams, end quote, comma, with a capacity of 74,000. It has been United's home since 1910. League, Premier League, bracket, England's top division. History and achievements, Manchester United are one of the most decorated clubs in English and European football. English top flight titles, 20, a record total in England. FA Cups, 12 plus, various historical wins. UEFA Champions League, 3 titles, most famously in 1968, 1999, 2008. Treble, Premier League, FA Cup, Champions League, achieved in 1999 under Sir Alex Ferguson. United are also globally renowned for their fan base, commercial reach, and youth development programs. Recent context, 2025-2026, manager Ruben Amorim appointed in November 2024. The club has had a mixed run of form in the 2025-2026 season, including high-scoring draws and tactical experimentation under Amorim. Injuries and international absences have impacted squad continuity, and transfer strategy focuses on long-term targets rather than short-term fixes. Notable players, 2025, one recent big signing is Brian Buemo. Hopefully got that correct. One sec. Let me just double check. It's been a while since I've watched any of the games. I think in Buemo, players change so much over time. Who joined United in July 2025 and scored a key goal in their first Anfield win since 2016. Yeah, we mentioned they're 7th in the table. The next game is against Aston Villa today in 2 hours, 4:30 away at Villa Park. Hopefully they can get the win and move up and qualify for Europe. I want to talk about the club specifically for a number of reasons. I know it sounds like I haven't been really involved or that in touch with it for a while. I grew up a Man United fan. I may have been partially named after Ryan Giggs, the number 11, who sometimes wore the 7 jersey in Man United, becoming their most decorated player with 13 Premier League titles, playing over 960 games from 1991 to 2014, and as a frequent expert commentator on the club, offering opinions on current players like Bruno Fernandes and the team's direction. But yeah, my godfather was a season ticket holder. Never had a chance to go to the game with him. Unfortunately, he passed last year, so there was an anniversary mass yesterday. And I wanted to talk a bit about. I have a jersey here, actually. Not actually, but for those of you listening, just decided to buy one. And also, the away kit. I have 2 kits. So maybe I'll get into it a bit more Now, I took a break from the last few years, just decided to focus solely on other areas of life for the last maybe 8 to 10 years. The club is kind of not doing so well. And yeah, I decided to focus on other areas of life. But now, kind of a bit more time to support United again. They've new owners. Let's talk about the business of Manchester United for a sec, which is super interesting. Their CEO was in the City team, Manchester City. Manchester City is part of the City, not the City Group, but maybe City Group. So, yeah, let's get into it anyway. I will clarify all my points, or the points, make it a bit of a business context. Here's a clear overview of the business side of Manchester United, how the club operates commercially, where it earns money, and how it performs financially as a global company. Manchester United as a business, number one, publicly traded football club. Manchester United is not just a football team. It's a publicly listed company in the New York Stock Exchange, Man U. That means its financial results, revenues, profit and losses, and business performance are reported publicly each year. Revenue streams. Manchester United's business revenue is split into three main categories. Number one, commercial revenue. This is the largest and fastest growing part of the business, driven by sponsorship deals, global and regional partners pay to associate with the club's brand, retail, merchandising and product licensing, sales of jerseys, apparel, accessories and licensed products globally, digital and new media revenue growing with e-commerce and global branding. In fiscal 2025, commercial income reached a record of 333 million. Well, that's interesting. Helped by a lucrative front of shirt sponsorship deal with Qualcomm's Snapdragon and other partnerships like Coca-Cola, Sokin and Paramatch. By the way, the 333 million is just interesting because I've never seen three's lined up like that before when it comes to the commercial income of a company, but it's probably nothing. Yeah, so just leave it. Number two, broadcast revenue. This comes from Premier League, TV rights, European competition payments. Broadcasting is significant but volatile. It depends on performance in competitions. For example, revenue dropped in 2025 when United played in the Europa League instead of the Champions League. Number three, match day revenue, money earned from ticket sales, hospitality packages, concessions on match days at Old Trafford. In fiscal 2025, match day revenue was also a record 160.3 million, boosted by high ticket and membership sales. Recent financial performance, total revenue final year 2025, 666.5 million. This is in pounds, a record figure, up slightly year on year. Commercial growth continues, making up roughly half of total revenues. Despite record revenues, the club reported a net loss about 33 million, though in pounds this was significantly less than the previous year's loss. Adjusted EBITDA improved. Just anyone listening doesn't know what it means. I used to get stuck on this a lot. EBITDA stands for earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization, a financial metric showing a company's operational profitability by adding back non-operational expenses, interest, and tax. If you don't understand, still, that's absolutely no problem. And non-cash charges, depreciation, amortization, to net income, offering a clearer view of core business performance. So think of it as if they're just the business performance. Cash flow potential, about the money coming in and out of the business, or could come out of the business. And comparatively across companies, though, it criticized for omitting capital expenditures. One sec. Just for kids out there, if they're listening to this podcast in Man United in business context, EBITDA stands for earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization, which we've already talked about. It shows how much money a business truly produces from normal operations before non-cash or non-operational expenses get involved. That is also quite complex. It's super, super simple. One sec. EBITDA, earnings. So EBITDA, it's earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization. It's a financial metric that shows how much money a company makes before taking its non-operational. Okay, we already got into this. Let's just continue. Showing underlying operational performance strengthening, operational or business performance. The club also invests in infrastructure like upgrading training facilities and plans for stadium redevelopment as part of a long-term strategic growth. Brand and commercial strategy. Man United's global brand is a key asset. It attracts blue-chip sponsors like Snapdragon, Coca-Cola. Its e-commerce platform and global merchandise sales are expanding. Retail and product licensing revenue is growing as the club reaches fans worldwide. The club continues to explore new commercial opportunities through digital engagement and global tours. According to financial analysis sites, commercial income now often exceeds broadcasting income, highlighting Man United's strength as a global brand rather than simply a sports team. Business takeaway: Man United combines the sporting side with a complex global business model, emphasizing commercial partnerships, global merchandising, and matchday engagement. While on-field performance impacts broadcast revenues, the club's brand power helps it secure strong sponsorship deals and retail sales worldwide. That's fascinating. So I suppose the one thing to take away or to know about Man United's business is they make most of their money for their global brand, not just football results. I'm seeing the logo Man United around Dublin than any other team in the Premier League. I'm not just saying that because I'm a fan. I feel like it's true, could be true, and there are multiple other clubs out there. So super interesting. And we're not even in Manchester United; it's across the Irish Sea. Even in seasons when Man United don't win trophies or qualify for the Champions League, they still earn huge commercial revenue from sponsorships. We were talked about this briefly, merchandise and partnerships around the world. The brand power, so this brand power makes them one of the richest clubs globally. But it also means their fans often expect success on the pitch to match the business of the success off it. Fascinating stuff. Let's get into something a little bit different as well, for those who don't know. There was a thing called a Manchester United 7, in brackets, usually refers to the legendary players who wore the number 7 shirt at the club. One of the most iconic numbers in football. Here are the most famous ones. We have number 1, George Best, 1960s to 70s. A football genius, skill, flair, and stardom made him a global icon. Number 2, Brian Robson, 1980s to early 90s. Captain Marvel, a powerful leader and one of United's greatest captains. Number 3, Eric Cantona, 1992 to 1997. The catalyst, his arrival helped start United's dominance under Sir Alex Ferguson. Number 4, David Beckham, late 1990s to 2003. Global superstar, famous for crossing, free kicks, and worldwide brand power. Interesting term, brand power. That's the second or third time it's come up. Let's just get into that real quick. I know we're going over the 15 minutes soon, so hopefully it's okay. Number 5, Cristiano Ronaldo. 2003 to 2009, and then 2021 to 2022. One of the greatest ever. Won the Ballon d'Or at United wearing number 7. The number has also been worn by others like Michael Owen, Angel Di Maria, and Alexis Sanchez. But there are 5 reasons. But these 5 reasons are for United's number 7 is legendary. Here's why the Manchester United number 7 shirt is so special. It represents flair, not just goals. A United number 7 is expected to be the game changer, someone creative, confident, and exciting, not just hard-working. It's linked to the club's legends like George Best, Cantona, Beckham, and Cristiano Ronaldo made this shirt famous. Though talent, personality, and big moments, it carries huge pressure. Because of its history, anyone who wears number 7 is compared to legends. Many talented players struggled because of expectations were unrealistically high. It helped build United's global brand. That's interesting. Stars wearing number 7 weren't just footballers, they were global icons. The shirt became a symbol of Manchester United worldwide. It's about personality as much as football. United's number 7 had swagger, leadership, and presence. Fans expected confidence, bravery, and individuality. In short, the number 7 shirt at Manchester United stands for greatness, charisma, and responsibility, not just a squad number. Just brand power, just a quick definition: how strongly a brand is recognized, trusted, and chosen by people, even when there are many alternatives. Simple definition: brand power is a brand's ability to influence people's decisions because of the name and reputation. Example: Manchester United. Manchester United's brand power means millions of fans support the club even when results are poor. Sponsors still pay very high fees to be linked with the club. Shirts sell worldwide just because they say Manchester United. In one sentence, brand power equals recognition plus trust plus emotional connection plus influence. Super fascinating. Super fascinating. Just over 15 minutes. What else do I like to cover? New ownership, real quick. We talked about the brand power of Man United in the business context. We also mentioned it being a publicly traded company. So the Man United is a publicly traded company on the New York Stock Exchange. We talked as Man U. So ownership is shared among many shareholders. The Glazer family remains the majority owner, which is, I think, an American family. Just double check. Excuse me. Yeah, they're based in Rochester in New York. Remains its majority owner, but which is nothing wrong with that. I just thought I'd mention. But Glazer doesn't sound like a typical English name, so I just wanted to mention that. But yeah, super interesting. I suppose it's a global company and it's on the New York Stock Exchange. But their share has been reduced after selling part of their stake. When did Man U enter the NYC? When did Man U go public? When did Manchester United PLC go public and what was the price? Our IPO was in August 10th, 2012. The initial offering was 14. What year did Sir Alex? He left at the end of the 2012-2013 season, announcing his retirement in May 2023 after nearly 27 successful years. So that's super interesting. I think since the club's gone public, I don't know if the performance on the pitch hasn't been the same. Maybe I'm wrong in saying that, but I just thought I'd mention, just an onlooking, just someone who maybe isn't watching every game, but just someone who's supported it since they were a kid. Sir Jim Radcliffe, chairman of INEOS. Ineos, or any of this, is now the largest. Which Radcliffe is, I think he's Sir Jim Radcliffe is English, so which is a bit better, I suppose. I know it's a global brand, but it kind of makes it a bit more like a football club and not like a publicly traded company. Coming from a modest but entrepreneurial background, Radcliffe made his fortune in petrochemicals through his company, which we just pronounced it there. INEOS, which is a global petrochemical, especially chemicals and oil products manufacturer. British engineer and businessman. Ineos, just double check, or just to, yeah. Let's go back to it. Chairman of Ineos, now the largest individual shareholder and has significant influence over football operations. Let's also check this, but just are any other Premier League or world football clubs on the New York Stock Exchange. Manchester United is the only one. That's mad. I just find it bizarre. You don't have LFC, Liverpool FC, City, Real Madrid, FC Barcelona, Chelsea, FC Bayern Munich aren't on the New York Stock Exchange. Bizarre. Anyway, let's continue. Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos in early 2024. Ratcliffe completed a deal to acquire roughly 25 to 28.9% of Man United shares using his company Ineos. This deal included control of football operations, meaning Ineos now leads decisions on the men's, women's, and academy football side of a publicly traded company. Radcliffe also committed significant investment money, around 300 million, aimed at strengthening infrastructure and long-term development at the club. What this means in practice, the Glazers still own a majority of the public traded company, but Ineos has the biggest single stake and operational control, a unique setup where the commercial ownership is mixed, but football control lies with Radcliffe's group. This is on ChatGPT, by the way, so please triple check me just to make sure if you're out there. Some reports, I think it's all good, hopefully. Some reports note Radcliffe and Ineos made adjust how the club is managed, including cutting costs and strategic restructuring. That's wonderful. However, we're still the only Premier League club that's publicly traded. Future takeover talk there continue to be when Sir Alex Ferguson left, that means it became a publicly traded company. Just the mindset switch goes from a football club that's dominating, doing well in the Premier League in 1999, I think it's won the treble, and 27 years for Alex Ferguson, then it became a publicly traded company. I hope he flips back to a football club now and can start winning trophies again. Just a mindset, maybe an attitude. Future takeover talk. There continue to be rumours of potential investors or bids from the Middle East, e.g. Saudi or the UAE groups, but nothing has been completed or officially confirmed yet. In short, Sir Jim Ratcliffe through Ineos is now a significant co-owner of Manchester United and controls football operations while the Glazer family remains the majority owner of the club shares, the publicly traded company shares, not clubs, just make sure it is a club, but it's also a publicly traded company. There's ongoing speculation about potential new investors and no full takeover has happened of late 2025. Is Manchester City a public company? Let's get into it for a sec. If anyone out there, is listening, keep on to 30 minutes. No, Man City is not a public company. Man City is a privately owned, not listed on any stock exchange. The club is owned by City Football Group, CFG. CFG is majority owned by Sheikh Mansour, Abu Dhabi United Group. Compare with Man United. Man United is a publicly traded company listed on the New York Stock Exchange. Man City, private company, now public shares. Key difference: Manchester United must publish details, financial reports for investors, while Manchester City does not have the same public reporting requirements in America, or I suppose global. It's in New York, it's in America with English Football Club. Let me just double check this. For those of you listening, just what is a public company? Maybe you're a bit younger, listening to Manchester United, that's absolutely no problem. Just in the car, or for a walk, or listen to this on a speaker. Maybe you're a teenager or in business school, let me just talk about this. Or anyone, by the way, I don't want to make presumptions, or you don't know. A football club, a public company, is a business that sells shares to the public and is listed on a stock exchange. Simple explanation: the company's ownership is divided into shares. Anyone, not just the founders, can buy those shares. The company must publish financial information so investors can see how it's performing. Key features: shares are traded on a stock exchange like in NYCE or London Stock Exchange, owned by many shareholders, must release financial reports regularly, follow strict rules and regulations. Example: Man United, public company, we talked about this, shares traded on NYCE. Man City, private company. One line exam definition: a public company is a business that raises capital by selling shares to public through stock exchange. Public company. public company, a company that everyone can own a piece of. Imagine a giant pizza, even people that aren't even fans of Man United. Super interesting. Imagine a giant pizza. Instead of one person owning the whole pizza, the pizza is cut into many slices. Anyone can buy a slice. Each slice is called a share. People who own slices share in the pizza's success. If the pizza shop earns money, they get a piece too. Because many people own slices, the pizza shop must show everyone how it's doing so people know if it's worth buying slices. Example, Man United is a pizza cut into slices. Fans, investors, and big companies can buy slices, shares, and become part owners. Man City, on the other hand, is owned by one family. No slices sold to the public. Super interesting. And it's a trend you see City constantly over the last, since 2012, seemingly doing a lot better than Man United. So maybe if we, I don't know if we can flip it around. And anyway, that's for another day. Just to talk about Man United. Manchester United and the future. Let's get into this. Talk about the CEO of Man United for a sec. For those who don't know, Manchester United is a business, a publicly traded company. So let's get into this for a sec. As of late 2025, the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of Manchester United is Omar Barada. Omar Barada, hopefully I pronounced it correctly, became Manchester United Chief Executive Officer in July 2024 after being appointed earlier in the year. He joined United from Manchester City, the City Football Group, which is a private company, so it's kind of different, where he held senior executive roles, bringing both football and commercial experience to the club. Role of the CEO, as CEO, Omar Barada is responsible for running the club's day-to-day operation, overseeing both business and football performance. That's a lot to cover for a CEO, helping steer Manchester United's, or maybe it is, I've never been one myself, but just thought I'd get into this, helping steer Manchester United's long-term strategy and commercial growth. The appointment marks a significant part of Manchester United's leadership transition under the influence of Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos after the previous CEO, Richard Arnold, stepped down. There's one thing being a CEO of a football club. There's nothing being a CEO of a publicly traded company, such as of a publicly traded company. You're managing different expectations. Just for those you don't know, the CEO is the Chief Executive Officer. CEO is the top boss of a company, the person in charge of making major decisions and running to day-to-day operations. It's great that he has a background in City. They seem to be doing well with City Football Group. In a publicly traded company, is one that sells shares to the public. Like Man United, the CEO's responsibilities include running daily operations, making sure the company works efficiently, implementing strategy, turning the board of directors' plans into action. Number 3, financial responsibility, managing budget, costs, profits to satisfy shareholders. Reporting to shareholders on the board, publicly traded companies must share financial reports, so the CEO helps present results clearly, representing the company to investors, media, and the public. Key differences from a private company CEO. A CEO of a public company is under more scrutiny. Investors, regulators, and the stock market watch every decision. They cannot make huge decisions alone without board approval. They are legally responsible for accurate reporting and protecting shareholder interests. Example, Manchester United, public company under Omar Barada. He runs the club's operations, reports financial results, and ensures both football and business sides are profitable. All right, super interesting. I suppose let's finish up here. We're coming on to 30 minutes. The CEO, the big boss of a company pizza. Imagine a company is like a giant pizza. The CEO is the chief and manager who decides what toppings go on it, how to bake it, and who gets what slice. In a public company, lots of people own slices, which we already talked about, shares. The CEO must make sure the pizza is delicious, so everyone who owns a slice is happy. They also have to show everyone how the pizza is doing. Is it selling well? Is it tasty? For example, Man United is a big pizza sold in slices, shares. Omar Barada, Beorada, the CEO, makes sure the club runs smoothly, earns money, and keeps fans and investors happy. So just remember, I suppose, when I'm watching it, that there's the club side of things, the football club, and there's a public company side of things, the global brand. So let's just Here's one big takeaway for Manchester United this Christmas. United are navigating both transition on and off the pitch with tactical flexibility, a busy festive schedule, and planning for the January transfer window under manager Ruben Amorim. Amorim signalled willingness to adapt tactics like shifting from his traditional 3-4-3 to cope with squad changes. They are seventh, so they're doing pretty well. I think could be better, but with squad, but let's not be too hard. There's a new CEO, there's a new owner, there's still the same owner, but let's just anyway. It is the Christmas season, so I'll stop there. With squad changes and injuries showing, the team is trying to find the best way forward as they head into the festive fixtures and look ahead to January signings. This reflects a broader theme for United this season: adjust and evolution rather than stability, as the side works to climb up the Premier League table and build momentum before this year. Super interesting, and just I suppose the one big takeaway for me is the public company. But let's just, which I kind of knew. I think I kind of knew. I knew that, but I just can't. Maybe just anyway. Global brand United. We'll finish up now with 31 minutes. One big takeaway to know about Manchester United as a global brand: even if the team isn't winning trophies, the club still earns huge money worldwide because people recognise and love the United name. In short, the brand itself is more valuable than any single season's result, which is maybe a shame. You'd hope it's good that the brand is recognisable. We talked about global brands, but you hope that, yeah. One sec. I suppose in total, Man United have won. We already talked about what they've won. Britannia, nicknamed the Red Devils for its distinctive red jersey. It's one of the richest, best supported football clubs, not only in England but the entire world. The club has won the English Top Division League Championship a record 20 times, the Football Association, FA 12 times. Already satisfied that one thing. They set the Premier League table. The Amorim Revolution. Excuse me. One sec. We'll finish it up here. This is interesting. One thing about global brand power and Man U, one defining thing about Manchester United global brand power, it's its performance-proof commercial engine. Even during periods of on-field struggle, we talked about, United remains a financial juggernaut, often outperforming rivals who are winning more trophies. The brand moat, 2025 data, record revenue in 2024-25 fiscal year, despite finishing 15th Premier League table, their worst ever finish. The club reported revenues of, we already got into this, 666.5 million. Massive fan base. The club estimates to have over 1.1 billion followers globally. To put that in perspective, that is roughly 65 million monthly global searches. Nearly, this on Gemini and Google, nearly 3 times more than other major clubs like Arsenal. Highest value deals. They recently secured a £900 million 10-year kit deal with Adidas, the richest in Premier League history. A £60 million per season shirt sponsorship with Snapdragon. Digital dominance. United remains the most followed English club on social media with over 223 million followers across platforms. Why it matters: this brand power creates a, quote, financial moat, end quote, while other clubs' valuations fluctuate wildly based on qualifying for the Champions League. United's global appeal in markets like India, Indonesia, and Nigeria, where they are the most searched team, allow them to maintain, that's brackets by the way, where they're the most searched team, end bracket, allow them to maintain valuation of approximately 6.6 billion USD, presuming USD dollars, second to Real Madrid globally. Yeah, as of late December 25, Real Madrid is the most valuable football club in the world. This is Gemini Google. While Manchester United remains a commercial powerhouse, Real Madrid has edged them out of the top for the top spot, largely due to their massive revenue growth. One sec. Is Real Madrid a public company? Is Real Madrid a public company? No, Real Madrid is not a public company. It's a non-profit organization owned by members called Socios. One sec. Yeah, Socios, who pay fees and vote on club matters, though recent proposals aim to allow limited minority outside investment while keeping member control. Unlike most clubs, it's run by fans, not shareholders, a tradition dating back to its 1902 founding. Key points on Real Madrid's ownership. Member-owned, the Socios members own the club, electing the president and board. Non-profit status. The structure classifies them as a non-profit, distinguishing them from typical public companies. Recent changes. President Florentino Perez has proposed creating a subsidiary for limited external investment around 5% to value the club and protect assets, but members will retain majority control. Not on stock exchange, the club has no plans to list on the stock market. While Manchester United remains a commercial powerhouse, Real Madrid has edged them out. We were talking about this spot shot of the top spot, largely due to massive revenue growth and the successful renovation of Santiago Bernabeu Stadium. The top 5 most valuable clubs in the world, 25, according to the latest Forbes and Sportico valuations. Here is how the elite tier looks. Number 1, Real Madrid, 6.75 billion USD valuation. Key driver, first club to pass 1.1 billion in annual revenue. Number 2, Manchester United, 6.6 billion. Massive sponsorship deals with Snapdragon and Adidas. Number 3, FC Barcelona, 5.65 billion USD, renovated new camp and high value digital assets. Number 4, Liverpool, 5.4 billion USD, commercial stability and Anfield expansion. Number 5, Manchester City, 5.3 billion, highest revenue in the Premier League. Why Real Madrid is number 1? We talked about this. Revenue milestone. Real Madrid has become the first football club in history to surpass, maybe didn't, just 1 billion in revenue in a single season. Stadium economics, the new Bernabeu, star quotation mark, new Bernabeu, end quotation mark, has turned into a year-round money maker, hosting concerts like Taylor Swift and NFL games, which significantly boosts their non-match day income. On-field success, winning the 2024 Champions League and signing global stars like Kylian Mbappe has further cemented their brand equity. Manchester United's position, despite being second, is arguably the strongest brand because they have maintained this multi-billion-dollar valuation despite nearly a decade of inconsistent on-field performance. However, recent data shows a slight decline in their overall sports ranking. They dropped from 14th to 24th on the list of the world's most valuable sports franchises, a list dominated by NFL teams like the Dallas Cowboys, who are worth $13 billion. Super, super interesting. One sec. I know we're over nearly 40 minutes, but this is super interesting. Just quickly, world's most valuable sports franchises or teams, I suppose. Talk about the Dallas Cowboys. They're all NFL teams. Dallas Cowboys, Golden State Warriors, Los Angeles Rams. Number 4, New York Giants. Number 5, Los Angeles Lakers. Number 6, New York Knicks. Number 7, New England Patriots. Number 8, San Francisco 49ers. Number 9, Philadelphia Eagles. Number 10, New York Yankees. I think we've covered a lot, so I don't want to dilute what we've covered by talking about more things. Yeah, I suppose we'll leave it on that, just to know that if there's one thing, we'll go back to it in a sec. That the one defining thing about Manchester United's global brand power is its performance-proof commercial engine. We know that it's the second most valuable club in the world, football-wise. The most valuable clubs in the world, a lot of them are in the NFL, sporting teams. The world's most valuable franchises is the Dallas Cowboys. Number one, Real Madrid is the number one football club in the world, which is a non-profit. Manchester United being a public company. Let's get into this, one sec. 40 minutes, perfect, I think. It's good to talk about the club. Talked about the fixtures coming up and the Ruben Amorim. We talked about the game coming today against Aston Villa, a massive top four battle, Boxing Day versus Newcastle, 8 p.m. GMT. This is the only Premier League game on Boxing Day this year. Home versus Wolves, the final game of 2025. January transfer rumours, internal stuff. I suppose if you're around the dinner table at Christmas, let's get into this. There's so much to talk about around Man United if you're a fan of it. Yeah, this is a good one. Here's one thing about Man United this Christmas. Manchester United recently hosted their first ever, Chanukah event at Old Trafford, a special community celebration making the Jewish Festival of Lights, bringing fans and local supporters together for faith, food, and talks in a night of unity and resilience. That's pretty cool. That's one thing to end. It's great to see the inclusivity, the diversity and inclusivity in Manchester United. I think I got that pronunciation correct. Hanukkah. Excuse me. Manchester United recently hosted its first ever Hanukkah event at Old Trafford. I need to eat some food. A special community celebration making the Jewish Festival of Lights, bringing fans and local supporters together for faith, food, and talks in a night of unity and resilience. And that's it, folks. Look forward to the Aston Villa game and catching the result of the highlights. And I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. And yeah, I picked up a jersey for Man United, so 2 of them. So wait and see how it goes. Thanks for listening.